Well, here we are going live. See if we can get some people in here. Get this Sunday morning chat started. See what everybody's interested in. Of course, I broke the news yesterday of, of our sale of our FedEx business. Hey, Ag Tech, how are you? Yeah, you're first in here. Hey, Josh, how are you? Yeah, try to get a few in here this brisk Sunday morning. I say brisk here because it's not too bad. I think it's about I don't know what is the temperature. Let me check. It's 45 degrees here. AgTech's probably got it. It's probably 25 up there, isn't it? Hey, Joy, how are you? Yeah, it's a brisk Sunday morning. It feels good out here. I like a morning like this. You finally beat Joy, yeah. Hey, Robert, yeah, it's a good Sunday morning here. Hey, Greg. Yeah, it's a good Sunday morning. I like a good fall day like today. No, no, no. See, I still own the shop. He's just renting basically my mechanics and everything. Yeah, I had too much stuff in here. I told him I'd rent him the space, but no, I still own the shop and I'm still controlling the shop. I mean, I got $100,000 worth of supplies in here. He didn't buy that. Hey, Patrick, how are you from Austria? Uh, no, the gentleman didn't buy that. And uh, hey, Shoestring, how are you? Yeah, they just they're going to use my mechanics, and my mechanics are. I got a runny nose this morning here. My mechanics are just going to work for them as mechanics, but no, I still own the shop, not taking anything out of it. So that's sort of the arrangement we've got, and they just want to maintain the status quo. Yeah, I'm still for the time being, I'm still tied in with FedEx. It's going to take a couple of weeks, loose ends to clear things up. I mean, I actually was dispatching some drivers this morning, so it's I'm not completely out of it because we've got to maintain the continuity until the other contractor completely takes over with his trucks. Hey, Renegade, how are you? I mean, it requires a lot of I just can't walk away from it. I can't say, well, give me a check and I'll walk away. I'm still obligated. Yes, I've sold out my FedEx business to another contractor, two brothers in Charlotte, North Carolina. I've sold different sections. I sold a couple of the runs to Landon Walker, and then I sold the majority of it to uh, two brothers that were pretty good size contractor too. Good morning, Aaron. Yeah. Uh, well, they bought some of the trucks. They would only FedEx will only let you buy the new type trucks. They wouldn't let us. I couldn't sell them all my trucks. I sold them just the trucks that would meet the criteria for FedEx, the ones with the forward collision and all the safety features that they're requiring on trucks now. I had 19 trucks like that I sold them, and the rest of the trucks I'm going to be selling off myself. I've got several trucks. I even got some fairly new trucks, some gliders that couldn't go because the gliders didn't have all the safety. They're new. They're 2016 Cascadias with 60 series engines in them, but I can't sell them as to go with FedEx. No, he didn't buy my shop. He's just going to be renting my shop. Yeah, yeah. I had to discuss some stuff with JC, see if he wants some trucks. Hi, Kevin. How are you doing? Yeah, yeah. JC bought a truck from me a couple of years ago. Uh, he bought an older truck that I had. I've got several like that, and I've been selling them off pretty good locally down here though. I've had a couple of farmers and people in construction and different things that have wanted some good day cab and single axle sleepers and a few things like that. So I've been able to sell some trucks locally here, and I'm gonna hopefully do that. I've got a couple I'm gonna probably take to the auction, clean them up, take them to the auction. They're those glider kits. They're fairly expensive trucks, and I can still get pretty good money out of those. So I'll probably take them to a truck auction. There's a local truck auction that usually gives you pretty good money out of it. So I'm gonna attempt to do that and attempt to try to have a little bit get the most revenue I can. Well, just drive them up there. They came from Iowa originally. Uh, the company that built them was in Iowa, and they were driven down from Iowa. So I mean, they're good running trucks. They'll go anywhere in the U.S. Or Canada also. Uh, but they're real good trucks. I mean, like I said, they're Cascadias. I've got one of them out here right now. They're the mid roof double bunk. They're loaded up. I paid 130,000 for them new, and then I've had them since 2016. 30 degrees there right now, huh? I think. Well, I know I've got one. I got one C15 Cat and a 2006 uh, Classic, and then I've got. I think I may have one other one out there. I don't know. I'd have to check. Hey, Craig, how is it? Is it no? It's not illegal to run without quarter fenders. Quarter fenders are not required. Not that I know of. I mean, some states require mud flaps, but quarter fenders, I don't think they've ever been a DOT regulation. I mean, quarter fenders is just a preference, uh, so it doesn't get on your cab and everything. But I've never seen a DOT regulation that says you had to have quarter fenders. Probably. Yeah, I'll probably be dropping the Fed. I mean, I don't know. I'm still ingrained in FedEx, so uh, you know, it FedEx is still a big part of my life, and will be for a number of years because I'll still be tied to it indirectly and everything. Yeah, I know. That's what I say. The gliders have been getting good money uh, so far. I've got the contractor that bought me out, he sold a couple of his gliders and got good money out of them. And because he's having to get away from the gliders also because of all this new technology. The tires, we run a 11R 22.5 tires. Uh, some of them have got the uh, Low Pro 22s, but most of them have the 11R 22.5s. How much do I want for those? As much as I can get. I don't know what the market's probably somewhere in the neighborhood of, they're 2016s. It's probably somewhere in the neighborhood around 50. I would imagine. I don't know. I'll have to get clean them up and get an estimate on what they're worth. I'm gonna try to get to as much as I can get because I want to clear up as much debt as I've got. I'm trying to clear out all kind of debt that I've occurred. And I mean, we're doing pretty good clearing out a lot of stuff, but uh, you know, you want to have your nest egg secured and everything. And plus, I've got some other investments I'm wanting to do right now. I've got 15 acres of land here where my shops. I got a shop right here, and then across the road I have another shop. It's across a private road, and between this property and the other property, I have 15 acres of land, and I'm thinking about putting some storage buildings up near the road frontage. I'm actually setting back off the road, and I've got road frontage in front of me that extends probably a quarter mile or better uh, in front of my shop. So I've got a good bit of road frontage, and I'm thinking about putting storage buildings out near there, and you know, bringing them on back as the need comes in. I'm gonna sell. I've got three service trucks. I've got a 2006 Ford F-250 diesel 6 liter service truck. It's been bulletproof. It's been overhauled and everything. And I've got a Dodge 2000. It's a 2006 or seven. Uh, that's a dually. Uh, what is it? 30, 35. I can't remember. Anyway, it's a dually Dodge. It's a nice one. I just recently got it about 6 months ago. It's a hoss. It's been overhauled, and it's got the cheater system on it, so you can turn the power up on it, so you can roll coal if you want to. The guy had done that ahead of me, but we had to turn it back because, boy, you'd mash it down and you can see a fuel gauge go. It was really sucking the fuel. EFT. Fleet Tech. I see that. I thought you were asking a question there for a second, Patrick. I see Fleet Tech's in here. Yeah. 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 My employees, they went with the business. I mean, they stayed on. I haven't had any of those to leave. They've all retained their run and everything. They've been able to keep their status with the new company. So the retention of that has been pretty good. Now I don't know how to go when we go down to Georgia. It could get better, worse, whatever. I don't know. So hey, Blake, how are you? Yeah. So I got Blake and Renegade and Everyday Fleet Tech. Yeah. Well, hey, well, there's Phil. Now, are you hunting, Phil? uh, yeah, yeah. I've been able to retain, everything, and that was part of my deal too. It was to be able to keep my mechanics up here, so they could keep their job, and they're doing a great job. And it was reasonable for him because he's going to be inundated with another 20, 25 trucks that he's going to have to maintain. Uh, so he needs the extra help there. So you just don't take on 25 extra trucks and not have the manpower. Yeah, I know. They kept all the employees. I mean, the employees are critical. I mean, it's tough to get good drivers and good mechanics. So that was a good thing for him and me. I mean, that way I was able to. I felt good about the sale, not knowing that I wasn't going to disrupt these guys' lives and everything. So I mean, that's you know, oh yeah, they're up to about 80 trucks now, so they're a big concern now. Yeah, these two brothers have been very successful down there. Also, they had as many trucks as I had, and now between what they have purchased recently and me, they're one of the probably the biggest. They're probably the big. I would say they are the biggest in Charlotte right now, merging all the companies together. So, that's something. Yeah, it'd be tough to have to get new drivers and mechanics all at the same time, like you said, Kevin. And that you know there'll be a little bit of fall off. I might lose one or two drivers, or he might lose one or two, but he has already kind of planned for that. He's got a lot of spare drivers, and so these are the things that you when you go into this kind of acquisition that you're going to kind of prepare for it too. So he's preparing for it, but so far so good. I mean, the ones that he took over, nobody's dropped out. They've all kept their same run and everything. Yeah, I mean, my employees have been very loyal to me. I mean, I've got drivers that have been with me 10, 12, 13 years, mechanics that have been with me 20 years. So it was very that's the emotional part, the emotional strain that it works on you to make sure that that you don't disrupt somebody else's life. I mean, you just don't want to come in and say, "Hey guys, I sold. See you. You're out of here." I mean, that would be just so disappointing. I mean, I got two great mechanics. I mean, up here uh, that we're working with in Cherryville, and then I've got guys in Georgia that are sort of semi mechanic. They got a service truck down there. I got one guy that is pretty good down there too, and you know, keeping when it's a pretty fine old machine, when it's working good, why disrupt it? And that disruption will do nothing but wreak havoc on him as he took over. And it's my goal for him, because I still have a stake in this too, as far as you know getting my money out of this situation, because I did some finance, I did some owner financing, and it's a situation that uh, you know I need to make sure that he's really productive too. I don't want this gentleman to fall on his face and not be able to maintain the status quo. I want him to grow too, and be even more successful. Yeah, no, I'm not going to get into the dump truck business. Um, I'm going to cut back on my mechanical stuff. I'm still probably going to have a few trucks. I still have my wrecker out here, and I still have three service trucks, and I still have about 30 something trucks to sell. I've got a couple of low boys and uh, some flatbed trailers and some 53-foot trailers, and just a variety of different equipment that I still own. And then plus I got a fully functioning shop across the road too. So I'm only renting this particular shop, the smaller shop. This is the one I'm gonna rent out, and the bigger one I'm gonna have to do something with. I've actually got uh, a gentleman that owns a chemical plant. I mean, chemical distribution. He talked to me the other day about maybe renting that building from me, because it's 10,000 square feet. Yeah, yeah, but I'm not a mechanic. So I guess I could do that. And my nephew actually does that. I have a nephew that has mobile services all over the Carolinas. He employs about 50 mechanics, and he does that very same thing. It was a business my brother had started, and then my nephew, after my brother got disabled with Parkinson's, uh, my nephew continued on and bought out his dad, and has continued on with that business. But you know, that's in my blood. I mean, I like heavy equipment. Uh, I enjoy different things like that. But I'm like I said, I'll be 70 this year, so I don't want to do physical things that are that taxing, and I'm not back to 100% physical health yet either. I mean, I'm still I'm still my upper body strength is, I've lost a lot of that through this operation, and they won't even let me condition that yet. I mean, all I can do is basically lose weight and continue walking and try to maintain my wind and everything. But as far as and you don't realize how much of that you'll lose if you don't use it. But since August, I haven't been able to pick up more than 5 pounds because the where they broke me apart on my chest and everything. You know, I'm not. I've got to let all this heal good, and they say it takes about 16 weeks before they'll let me even pick up anything of any substance. I mean, I have actually almost attempted a couple times to pick up something and realize, oh, this hurts. So I had to watch it. Uh, I'm not going to sub, Joey. I still have my license. I'm still qualified with FedEx. But as far as subbing, no, that's just not anything I want to do. I mean, you got to consider I've been driving a truck 50 something years. I'm sort of tired of it. I mean, I don't mind crawling in a truck and taking it 5 miles. Do I want to crawl in a truck and take it 500? No, not anymore. I've done it. I've done it right up till this past year, and substitute and you know take trucks to retrieve something or for breakdown or something like that. But that's not my cup of tea anymore. I don't like it as good as I used to. Uh, uh, there comes a point in time in your life that, I mean, it used to be I couldn't wait to get in a tractor trailer truck. When I was young, I mean, if they told me, well, we're going to let you work 8 hours, but you're going to have to do it for free, I probably still would have done it because I loved it that much. Uh, when I was young. Yeah, I guess I could write a book, Patrick. Yeah, I started in 1967 in the transportation business when I was still in high school, and so yeah, I did that and right on through college, and just a variety of things. So yeah, I've got a pretty good storied history, I guess, of what I've done for the past 50 odd years. I don't know if it'd make a bestseller list, maybe bestseller on YouTube here, but yeah. And Kevin, I've actually had a couple of people reach out to me and want me to mentor them. And I actually had three guys that own a corporation in California that saw me and wanted me to, and they talked with me about the FedEx business and everything. So I'm getting those kind of inquiries right now, and I we'll see where that goes. You never know if somebody wants my knowledge, and of course, I'll probably have to make me a consulting business to do any good with that. But you know, being a consultation, being a consultant, I can live with that. I don't want to spend all my time just talking about it if I'm not rewarded in some manner. That's for sure. Yeah. Well, I mean, we all you can burn out, and you try your best not to burn out, and I haven't burned out in the business. Like I said, a lot of people quit way before I do, before my age, and yeah, everybody hit the button there. Give me a thumbs up if you can. Help me on my activity part there. See if we can get those thumbs going a little bit. That always helps on YouTube for some reason or another. So I like having the engagement there. Well, it's not too bad down here, Blake. It's like I said, it's 45, 46 degrees right now. It's fairly nice, and I enjoy this kind of fall weather. You walk outside, it's sort of brisk, smelly, and I like it. Oh, you got 100% chance of rain. Well, no, it's pretty out here today. Down here in the Carolinas, it's pretty weather. Yeah, I guess I need the pesos. The little bit of money that I get, my engagement list is not so big as some of the others. I mean, I need to get my view count up. Is what I need to do. I've got subscribers up fairly good, but you got to have the views too. And you know, my topics, I guess, sometimes may be too boring for the average consumer. Uh, I'm going to start doing some more videos and showing stuff around my shops and what we're doing. And just now that I've got more time, I'm gonna probably put up more videos and just kind of explain my life through videos that way, as opposed to just sitting in front of the camera like that's what most people see me doing, is just sitting in front of a camera and talking. But yeah, it's Fleet Tech and me are about probably the same in weather. He's down in Atlanta. I'm up here in North Carolina, and we're only a couple of 100 miles apart. But generally, Atlanta and my area are about the same. Oh, it's 4. Oh, it's 4 degrees. Oh, -4 degrees. Oh, wow. Oh, good gracious, -4 degrees Fahrenheit. That's terrible. I, I'm not wanting to exchange with you in any way, Ag Tech. That's when you get out and you try to crank things and they don't want to turn over. At least the diesel engines down here will still turn over at 45 degrees and 30 and 20. But boy, when it gets down into the 0 and below, you can't hardly crank a diesel engine. I mean, it just takes too much heat to get to the engine. Yep, that's cold. I got some noise back. I don't know what I got. I don't know if something's on the roof. If I got a bird on the roof or something on this tin roof, I can hear something back there, or it might be a branch or something rubbing against the building. I got something making some noise. I got or some varmint in here. I don't know. I might have some varmint. I've had some possums and even skunks get around the shop here, so you have to watch it. Yeah, yeah, -4. The ether and the battery chargers and everything else come out. That's -20 Celsius. Whew. No wind. Yeah, yeah. You probably still got snow on the ground too, don't you, Ag Tech? I've noticed the guys in Minnesota that I watch, and a couple of them up in uh, the upper west of the United States, that they're in Colorado's got a lot of snow and everything else. Yeah, yeah. You can get the older engines do pretty. Some of these new ones are, Lordy mercy, they're tough. You got 12 or 16 inches of snow. And Renegade's down there in Florida, and he's at 67. Yeah, that's the difference. It goes from 67 to a -4 here. I don't know what it is, if is Patrick's still in here, what it is in Austria right now. He'd have to translate it from Celsius too, though. Yeah, yeah. You got older engines. They fire up pretty good. Yeah. Well, how cold is it in Austria, Patrick? Yeah. No snow, but what's the temperature over there? I mean, you give it to us in Celsius, I guess, if you don't want to convert it. All of us American guys we'll have to get out the calculator and try to figure what the difference, what Celsius and Fahrenheit difference are. Yeah, I don't want to be in -4 either. -4. Well, hey, Chris, how are you? Yeah, yeah. We used to do that. We used to They used to have what they called a salamander heater. I don't know how it got that name, but I remember the old salamander heaters we had on the docks at Carolina Freight, and we'd keep tow motors warm and different things like that to keep them firing up when it got real cold. Okay, 100 degrees Celsius, 212 Fahrenheit. Well, I don't want either one. Yeah. Okay, it's plus 10 Celsius right now. Okay. It gets down to -5. And so plus 10 Celsius is about, what is that about? That's about 40 degrees there, isn't it? So you're up to about 40 degrees Fahrenheit, probably. Oh, you still got one of those old salamander heaters? Yeah. Yeah. I haven't seen one of those in years, but we used to have those. And then, of course, the torpedo heaters, a lot of people still use that. They got either the kerosene or the propane torpedo heaters. And we've done that on plenty of times. Take those out to a site and have to heat up the equipment to let the oil get warm before you try to turn over the motor because the oil's so thick, uh, on some of those things, they wouldn't even turn over the engine. Okay, 10 Celsius is 50 degrees. Okay, yeah. For all of us who never learned the metric system, and they were going to try it when I was in high school. They were going to convert everybody to the metric system, and that was going to be the thing. And they even started putting road signs out with both uh, ways back in the early '70s. And then they said, "Oh, the heck with it. U.S. is too lazy to do the metric system, so we're just going to keep it the same." So they never did. Maybe one day, I don't know. Yeah. Diesel or yeah, on those torpedoes, you can run a lot of them. You run either one, kerosene or diesel. Yeah, diesel would probably is cheaper than kerosene right now because you have to refine that uh, kerosene. It's got a little less lubricants and everything in it. Oh, that'd be great. That'd be great. Just come on up anytime now. Uh, Anytime you're up here in North Carolina, you look me up, and I'm generally around. I'm not doing anything fancy usually. My wife hadn't. Now, of course, I go down to Savannah. I might can meet you down in Savannah sometime. You go down to Savannah, but I've still got a place down at Hilton Head. The wife hasn't let me sell that yet. We decided to keep our condo down at Hilton Head, so we're still down there. And you know, if you're ever down there, Fleet Tech, uh, just call me. Look me up. Call my number's on the site. You can get my phone number and give me a buzz. Oh, okay, yeah, yeah. We can get together on live stream sometimes. Yeah, we ought to. Anybody want to do that sometime? We can just get on. I can't do it on this one today, but because I didn't get on. Uh, what is that other one? I can't even think of the other live stream part. Yeah, we'll have to do that. We'll do that then, Blake. Yeah, anybody's welcome to give me a call or whatever. I'd love to meet guys. Like I said, I've met a few out here, and I try to. I'm just who I am. I'm nobody special for sure. I'm just a guy that has been in business for 30, 40 years and out here working and enjoying my life and trying to you know meet up with some good people and everything. So I enjoy talking to everybody. Hey, Don. Well, you're better late than never. I doubt I drive anything fancy. I got a BMW. That's about the fanciest thing I've got. We got a BMW X5 it's a diesel too. I like it, but that and a F-150 pickup and a Dodge pickup and things like that. So I don't. I doubt I get and I guess the fanciest thing I've got my coupe. I guess if you want to call it fancy, that's my old street rod, my 31. I got a 31 Ford A model, and I'm gonna try to work on it more now that I have a little more time. So that's one of my projects to hopefully do. Yeah. Well, yeah, I like diesels, so I've always had a diesel. Just about everything. Well, even my F-150 is a diesel pickup. It's that Power Stroke 3 liter. It's a 3 liter diesel, and it's a nice vehicle. Very economical too. I get 32 miles to the gallon with it, so I love it. I mean, it's a great little pickup. Yeah. Well, yeah. I guess you're diverse and everything, Fleet Tech, with what you're doing with the airplanes and the trucks and everything. Anytime you've got that diversity and you're very versatile in doing different things, it makes your worth better, I would think. And you probably could do that. And uh, I don't know how big of a fleet y'all have down there. I imagine pretty good size. I guess what the transporters and a few things like that they have to maintain. I don't know what all the airports and everything have in their fleets like that. You want a '69 Charger? Yeah. Hey, son. My son jumped in here. Hey, Steve. Yeah. Yeah. I used to have a '70 Roadrunner, Patrick. I had a '70 Roadrunner that got me in trouble back in the '70s. My son, who's in here now, has heard me tell the tales and the woes of me getting my butt in trouble with my '70 Roadrunner. I had a '70 Roadrunner with a 383 and the 4 speed and all that. So I've had that similar muscle car in my early days, and that and a Nova. I had a '74 Nova, which a Super Sports, which was a nice car, and then I've had to settle into raising a family. So I've had the regular family cars for the majority of my life. And now I'm back into doing the things like a kid. And that's why I've got a 31A model again and a Mustang. I've got my son's Mustang. I bought that from him after he got married. I bought his 96, I think it's a 96 Mustang convertible. And then I bought a Mustang convertible, a 67 or 68 Mustang convertible for my wife. And then I've got my 31 coupe. So that's sort of my play toys. I need to take time to play with my play toys and get them back in good shape. But, and now maybe I'll have a little time like that. Yeah. No, I never had a Superbird. I had a friend that actually, I had a guy that I worked with that actually had one of those Superbirds. He had he either had the Plymouth Superbird or the Dodge Daytona. I can't remember to tell the truth. But, uh, and then actually I had two friends. Those cars were very rare, but there were actually two of them in my hometown here. And I wish I could have bought one of those and kept it and put it in a garage because they're worth a mint now. Yeah, yeah. I had a friend that had a salvage yard, and the first time I'd ever seen a 426 Hemi, not a 440 Hemi, but a 426 Hemi, and those heads on that thing were huge. I mean, that was one of the biggest motors I'd ever seen. But it was in a 68 Dodge Charger that had been wrecked. And at that time, he sold that motor for a tremendous amount of. He sold the motor for what the average car back there was selling for. Uh, and he had some guy that came from somewhere up north that heard that he had that motor, came and paid him cash money for it, and it was gone. I'd looked at it a couple times. I thought, man, that'd be a great engine to put in my Roadrunner. But I'm glad I never attempted anything like that. But it was a motor that I mean, I couldn't have afforded gas around the block on that thing probably. Oh, really? Well, I your dad was a mechanic too, was he, Phil? A 440 and a GT. Yeah, I had a friend that had a GTX with it's either a 383 or 440. I can't remember, but it was a GTX. It probably was that 440. I think that's what was normal in those in the GTX. Those were pretty cars. I like those GTX. That was one of the ones I thought were pretty. Yeah, I tell you, yeah, that it's amazing those engines. I mean, that was a monster looking engine. When we popped the hood on that, that's the first time I'd ever seen one. I mean, I couldn't believe how big that motor was. I mean, like I said, the heads looked that wide, whereas a normal head on a car is about like this, and it was at least twice as wide as the normal head on a motor, and just gosh, I don't know all the specs of that particular car, but I mean it was the hot motor to get, and a car I know back in '74, I paid $3,600 for my Nova, brand new Super Sports Nova, and I think Benny Allen, who owned that motor and everything, I think he got $4,000 just for the motor, and you could buy a complete car, cheaper. And so that to me was ridiculous. But he was smart about it. He knew that it was worth something. Oh, your dad was a motorcycle and car mechanic, was he? Then he went to heavy. Okay, so you're second generation heavy equipment, then are you? I didn't realize that, Phil. I'm second generation truck driver. My dad drove for Carolina Freight for 38 years, and he retired from Carolina Freight, which was bought out, later was bought out by ABF. But Carolina Freight was the big entity that was in our hometown, started here in my hometown of Cherryville, and was a big concern. Yeah. So you're a chip off the old block too. Well, hey Nova, we're talking about Novas just a minute ago. Hey, Trucker's Life. I hadn't seen you in here yet. Glad to see you jump in, Walter. Yeah, I hope I've acknowledged everybody. I try to keep up with who all's in here and who all's chatting. Good lively chat this morning, and I appreciate. I've had a lot of kind words the past couple of days and comments and everything about my selling of the business and everything, and I appreciate everybody's kind comments and everything. And most people, I think, are uh, realizing that this is a time for me to retire from this part of my life, and it's. I mean, I'm not retiring completely. As my son, if he's still in here, he'll tell you, Dad, ain't yet. And I'll keep doing something. Um, I, it won't be trucking. Do trucking at the capacity that I've done. Well, hey, Sean. I tell you what, I'm scared to death what Biden's going to do. Uh, all there wasn't enough blue collar workers out here, I guess, to put Trump back in, or something changed. Uh, it's tough. It's like a lot of people said, the 75 million that voted for Trump are going to be working their butts off to pay for the 75 million that voted for Biden, and that's about the way we feel about it. A lot of us. It's just the working class people were let down on this election for sure, and yeah, I think there'll be a revolt in some ways come midterm elections. I mean, you're already seeing a little bit of that now with the House gaining 10 on the Republican side. And I think you may see Nancy Pelosi and her crowd get out of there if they carry on their obnoxious ways and everything. So I don't know. The American business person, and that really weighed on me too, to finalize this, because I'm fearful of what will happen under a Biden administration. I mean, I don't know what y'all's guys' politics are out there. I think the majority of the guys work with their hands and things like that. They support the idea of people working for a living, and there's so many people that are not working for a living. They expect a handout that it's pathetic. And that's those of us that have worked hard all of our life are probably going to have to pay the burden of what's going to come down in the next few years, I'm afraid. I mean, they keep saying, "Oh, you're not going to tax anybody above 400,000." Well, that's bull crap. You just wait and see. He will tax everybody. I mean, that's going to be his style. You wait and see. Well, I wish there was an easy path to that Trump could do some things. Uh, he's getting obstacles every bit of the way, and I knew anybody that tried to that would. I mean, it happened in 2000 when Bush and Gore were contesting the election too. It was just pretty dramatic and tough, and it's going to be tough. All those all those mail-in ballots that were the demise of Trump. I mean, he knew it. He knew it months into this thing, that the more mail-in ballots that come in, the less likely it will be that he would win. And he was right about that. And I feel like that's the problem right there, is the mail-in ballots. And it's going to be tough. All the blue collar workers out here, and I'm blue collar for sure today, blue collar shirt. All of us blue collar workers out here that have worked hard to establish ourselves, we're going to be in the paying the brunt of the taxation. You just wait and see. I mean, the big corporate people, the rich people, they know how to shelter themselves. I mean, they've been doing it for years. So why would that be any different? Yeah, this election just puzzled me. I was afraid it would come out this way, because you can just see too much stuff happening and everything. But you know, I don't know what to say. It's tough. It's tough. I just hope that we can. Yeah. Biden got, well. I mean, when you have all those thousands of dead people vote for you. I had a friend said, yeah, his uncle voted Democratic first time in 20 years. Of course, he's been dead 10, and so that's what we got into sometimes. I just hope everybody go down there and help Fleet Tech at least get our Republican senators down in Georgia. I mean, we need to do that, mobilize in Georgia and get those Republican senators in there so we can control the Senate. Because if we don't, I don't want Kamala Harris being the deciding vote on every piece of legislation coming down the pipeline. I mean, that would be tragic if we lose those 2 Senate seats in Georgia. So that right now is more critical than anything is that Georgia Senate race. If we can at least get one of them, I'd love to see them get two. That would equalize the the Congress that way, because right now Pelosi is just a nut, and you know what do? You just do the best you can do. Well, there goes the compressor. Yeah. Well, I probably need some Sterling parts myself. I got one Sterling. Yeah, I know it. JC did his part. He made Ohio go red, and North Carolina finally got it to end up red. But boy, I tell you what, that was disheartening to see Georgia go blue and Pennsylvania go blue uh, this time around. I don't know. It's tough. Yeah, there's so much corruption on that the mail-in votes that corrupted this election. I mean, you can say what you want to say. They just wasn't enough checks and balances. When you can just put a piece of paper in the mail and they're going to accept it, and they're not checking the signatures. See, that's the thing. They weren't checking. They had a They had a machine that would check the signatures, and they cut it down so low in the uh, acceptance rate that it would accept anything. So basically, anything that came through, regardless if it matched any signature on hand or not, just got on through. So you can't do something like that if you don't have a check and balance. And they had no check and balance in place on the mail-in votes. Not, I don't think that's my opinion. And that's the thing about it. Why we don't have it where you have to show a a your voter ID of some description. I mean, we have to show ID to do anything, and then they try to say, "Oh no, it's discriminatory if you make people show ID." Well, no, it's not discriminatory. It's just the law. It's legal. Anything that if you go to the airport, if you go anywhere, you have to show. I mean, think about it now. Even at the airport, my wife just got her license renewed, and because she's never going to fly, she didn't care to get the I don't know if it's international, whatever it is. There's something different that you can get on your license now, so you can fly. And if you don't have that, you can't fly even a domestic flight. So she didn't do that. She said, "I'm never going to fly in an airplane," so she didn't care. Well, you take care, Patrick. You keep Austria straight now. Yeah, I mean, there needs to be some ways of getting rid of that fraud, but that's what we're up against right now. It is a pathetic situation. There's so much of this stuff with felons in certain areas, and just they it's we've had a lot of big money people like Bloomberg, George Soros, just a lot of different crazy people that have really corrupted the political process this time for sure. I don't know. I don't know how we're going to combat those things. Yeah. Well, at least one form, Blake. I don't know about two as much as I do. You ought to have one. And like I said, the biggest thing is the mail-in fraud that we've got. It's just it's unsurmountable out there. I mean, they showed in so many different locations all the dead people that voted. Well, I mean, if you had one or two, I mean, and they had hundreds. If you had one or two, you ought to be suspicious of things. But they seem to just kind of brush it off. They got the results they wanted, so they're not going to help anybody try to combat this problem. Once the the do-gooders in Washington, or as the swamp, as they've always said, got what they wanted in the results. They're not going to help anybody try to change that outcome. Yeah, it's you know it's pathetic that we have to stoop to some of those situations there. Well, and that's the way it should. I think everybody should show their ID. I mean, everybody has a driver's license or some sort of identification to get around. I mean, heck, if you go to the bank, if you go anywhere, I mean, even if you had to go to a check cashing place, they're going to want to have an ID of some description. So it it's not racial, it's not economic. It's just a way for people to uh, screw with the system, and they try to paint it as a economic and a racial thing, and it's not. It's just a legal thing. If you have legal status and you can prove your legal status, end of story. I don't understand why people object to people showing a legal status. I mean, that's just like anything in life. If you're tested, I mean, you want to make sure that the person that you're speaking to is who they say they are. I mean, how many times have you gone to, if you're cashing a check, and nobody does checks anymore, but they want ID. They want to make sure that you're that person is signing that check, and then they're going to want your phone number and your driver's license. They want all kinds of identification if you write a check. And it's just absurd that we don't have the same security within our voting system. And the people that say that we shouldn't, I think they're the ones that are the problem. That's the core problem there, is because they know that they could ballot harvest and everything. And and there's so many places. I mean, it even happened here in North Carolina where they were going out and harvesting votes, and there was a big trial, and it changed the election. They had to redo one of the House seats and everything because of corruption. And if you can have it on that scale like that, and there were thousands of votes on that too, where people were going out and harvesting votes, and it was terrible. Well, that's right. I mean, anytime that you can just stuff ballots uh, in your favor, then you're going to win out. I mean, it doesn't take a rocket scientist to figure that out. That so many people can stuff ballots, and there were definitely some signs of people stuffing ballots. So I don't know. It's very disheartening to see that our political system has fallen to that uh, stooped that low, and it has. This past election, of course, I know they used the pandemic as an excuse to have so many mail-in ballots, but they abused the system. I mean, you you don't all of a sudden raise the level of that many more voters if somebody hasn't been stuffing the ballots. And we went, I mean, the percentage, I forget how many more millions of people voted this time. And I don't think that that many more millions of people actually came out to the ballots. Uh, they they stuffed them. They showed up at the ballots, but I don't think that many more legitimate people did, and it just wreaks havoc. And I'll probably be flagged by YouTube by me even saying things like, I know I'm gonna probably get a disclaimer. Uh, uh, if everybody's noticed anything, anytime you discuss anything about the outcome of this election, your your uh, uh, your YouTube your YouTube channel or your YouTube story that you've got will be flagged, and they'll talk about here's the outcome of the election and blah blah blah, and they're really pushing the narrative that all this election was done right, and there's too much doubt. There needs to be some people check it out, but not if YouTube and Facebook and Twitter and all the rest of them have their ways. They are not going to let us have a free and fair election this time. I think that yeah, it is sickening. It's sickening, JC. I just yeah, that's the thing about it. I mean, just like you're talking about it, Nova, that there's so many places that harvested all these votes, and they harvested them, and that those ballots they get from nursing homes and some of these places, those people can't even. Some of those people couldn't even read anything, but they probably voted, and they were probably told to scratch right here. Yeah, that's the problem, Kevin. That we have got to do something about the tech giants right now. Yeah, yeah, I know, Jerry. It's a crying shame that the election did go this way. Uh, I was fearful of it, and when it started getting so close in different areas, I was afraid. Uh, I couldn't believe that the upper states, Michigan and Minnesota and Wisconsin, flipped back. I was hoping that they would stay red, and it's just tough. Of course, I mean it was tight. It was tight in all those states, and like I said, even my own state of North Carolina here, it was down to the wire on it too. And then for Georgia to go blue, it's just disheartening. But it things we're just going to have to work twice as hard uh, coming up with midterm elections and the next election to see if we can get our if you're conservative, get your conservative voice heard. And I don't know where we'll stand in 4 years. I don't know who will run again and all that either. Yeah, I know that's the thing about it. They I just don't understand. I mean, law and order should have been the biggest thing on the voters' minds, and I, you know, I wish we had a leader like Trump with a little bit less of his tweeting, and you almost need Mike Pence, and with his he doesn't have the dynamic personality, but he's got a even killed demeanor. Uh, is not an exciting. Trump rallies people because he gets exciting, but then he pushes people away because of the excitement too. And he's a bragger, which that turns people off too. And he if he would have been slow and methodical and could told what he did, and he did some great things. I mean, I'm a diabetic now, and he's lowered all this insulin down to nothing, and even some more lately. That it's not costing me a ton of money now. I'm able to get it on the open market so much cheaper than had I been trying to get it 6 months ago. One medicine that I was taking was 300 and I think $340 per month, and then it's down to like $12. And then another one I had was like 200. So he saved me $600 a month just what he legislated just in the past few months. So it's amazing, and I think he would have done some more amazing things like that had we put him back in. But people didn't give him credit. That's the problem. All they want to do was fuss about his mouth and his actions and like that, and did not really give him credit for what he really did. And that's a crying shame because he did some great things. Uh, I don't know what we're going to do now with the border wall. I guess Biden will probably tear it down. Uh, he'll probably spend as much money tearing it down as he did putting it up. I and just open the borders wide open. So we'll wait and see. Yeah, they probably will. They'll probably use the 25th Amendment on Biden against him and put Kamala Harris in there. That's probably what they'll do, because when he gets up there and acts like a doofus a couple times, they'll probably say he's not worthy. I mean, they'll wait. Mark my word, they're going to wait 2 years though, because they don't want to do it the first few months. They'll wait 2 years, and then that way they feel like they'll have Kamala Harris for 10 years, because she could finish out the remainder of his 2 years, and then still be allowed to run 2 more terms. Well, hey Zach, glad to see you from down under. Right. Yeah. Yeah, I'm the same way, JC. I mean, I didn't like everything that Trump did personally, but I liked the way he governed. I mean, I ruled. I mean, that was my rule of thumb. Is I looked at the way people govern, not maybe how their lifestyle or their how they personally live their life on everything. But if we hire them to govern, we're hiring somebody to captain the ship, and we're not hiring somebody to be the nicest person around. I mean, that's like if you go back in history. I was watching a thing on the History Channel about Patton. Well, Patton was happy to make sure that all his guys hated him. He didn't want the guys under him to like him. And Trump's a little bit that way too. He's sort of like a Patton, and he wanted to rule. He wanted to be able to get things done, but he wasn't worried about personality. Oh, people can't see the forest for trees for sure. Oh yeah, yeah. Kamala will be. She'll be the first. If everything goes to order the way they want it, she'll be the first. She'll be the first woman president probably in the United States, and which is bad because uh, I don't know. She is so left. She's so far left, or at least she presents herself that way. She's manipulated real easily. I'm afraid too, but it's sort of about how far the wind's blowing it the day that she's asked the question. I mean, I've seen her flip flop so many different ways, but um, she's different. She's different. So I'm scared. I'm scared of Kamala, and I do think that's the reason Biden went in, was because that so many people that want to see a woman president voted for him to get her. So it was an alternative move for a lot of people. Bernie wants to give $2,000 a month to who? Everybody? Yeah, probably so. Bernie thinks we have this endless amount of money in the U.S. and all he's going to do is burden our grandchildren and children and the economy and everything else. Bernie is a socialist. He is teetotally a socialist, and we need to steer as far away from Bernie's ideas as anything. Yeah, the big tech wanted her as president. I mean, the big tech is, all for her type administration, but they're the big tech's puppets too. Big tech is telling these people what to do, and if you notice, big tech, they're not scared of the Senate. I mean, they're sitting up there lying to the Senate, and they could care less. Yeah, and they will. They'll wait 2 years, JC. They'll wait 2 years, because if they do that, then she can run out the remainder of his term, and then she'll go in, because Biden's not going to go. I mean, Biden's not going to go for reelection. I mean, Biden will be 81, 82, if he tries to get reelected, he's 78 now, so he'd be 82 years old. We've never had a president. Well, we've never had a president as old as Biden. He'll be the oldest incoming president we've ever had. Yeah, I mean, Bernie Sanders scares me to death. I mean, and he's going to have more power in this uh, uh, administration than he's ever had before. I mean, he's aligned himself and sort of given up in so many cases so he can have more power, and he will have more power in a Biden administration. You wait and see. I mean, and if Biden goes in there and agrees to put in all these crazy people that he thought that would be good, I mean, it's going to be Katie bar the door. It's going to be Katie bar the door. Yeah. Biden's going to be older than Reagan when Reagan left than when as Biden comes in. And everybody thought Ronald Reagan was really old. I mean, we're starting off with somebody really old, so it's going to be a showdown on what's going to happen in Congress and everything else. I really don't know. It scares me. Yeah, yeah. Pelosi and Kamala, they will spend us to death. I mean, it always bothers me why these people think that we have an endless checkbook. I mean, we can print more money, that's for sure. That devalues the dollar. I mean, it's going to be uh, like in Venezuela. I saw a thing of people bringing wheelbarrow loads of money just to buy bread and just normal things because the devaluation of their currency had gone down to nothing. And we will end up in the same scenario if we keep spending, spending, spending. And the more socialist you become, the less productive you become, the more, the more dependent we'll be on the government. And that's what so many of these socialist Democrats want is for us to be dependent on the government. They want the dependency. They want you to need them. They don't want a society that's independent and they can think for themselves and do for themselves and provide for themselves. They want a society so they can say, well, here's your handout. And and unfortunately, we've got so many people that are on the receiving end and goes, oh yeah, I get my handout. And they're productive people that are out there that are making themselves non-productive because of their laziness not to be productive. And that's a sad state of affairs, but it's the truth. I mean, you've got to have incentive to want to do more each and every day. I mean, you've got to get up, want to put your pants on, go out and do something. I don't care what it is, but you've got to have that incentive in life. And when you don't, it's really going to go downhill. Well, guys, I've been on here about an hour and 15 minutes, so I am going to get off because my voice is wearing out. And I'm going to probably get struck by YouTube anyway on this one. They're probably going to flag me and say this one's not appropriate for monetization because they've done that. Anytime anything political comes up, that's what happens. Yeah. I'm gonna take care, and y'all guys take care. Enjoyed the conversation this morning. It's been a great conversation, and we'll see y'all guys later.